Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session, we learned about arrays. So what topics we discussed about arrays? We learned what is array, what is the purpose of array, what is array, and what is the purpose of array. Purpose of array, and we discussed about what are the means how to configure array. So how to assign and initialize memory for array. All these we learned now, right? How to assign or initialize memory for array. And next, what? How to read the values from array. That means we are learning about array methods. Array methods are there. Array methods. So array methods are used for array manipulation. So how we can manipulate array? To manipulate array, lot of methods are there. First, I give an example on how do we read elements from an array. How to read elements? To read elements from array, what are the methods? So we have methods like toString. We have method like join. We have method like map. We have a method find. We have a method filter. That's the method. Actually, toString will we also have slice now. Slice. toString will return all array elements separated with comma. And join will return all elements separated with custom delimiter, our own separator. And map is an iterator which is used for reading all elements in a sequential order. Find will return the first occurrence that matches the condition. Filter will return all that are matching the condition. Slice will return between specific index. These are all the basic array methods used for reading the value from array. Right. Now here the key point is not just reading, how we present array is important. We will see a lot of techniques, inserting, updating, deleting and all. So once we know how to read, we need to present these elements, array elements. So today we will see how we can present array elements. You have another two options we have. For in and we have for off. These are two important things. Actually, what is for in is? For in, so it is an iterator used to read all properties from array. Array properties means what? 0, 1, 2, these are properties. If you want to read all properties from array, you have to use in, for in. Syntactically, how do we write that? For where property in collection, you have to define the collection name. You can read every property and you can use it. We have another technique. We have what? For off. For off is an iterator used to read all elements from collection, from array. Elements means values. Elements are nothing but it is used to read all values from array. To read all values from array, we need this. So here, syntactically, we write like this. What is it for? Var item of collection. We have to define collection. This is the way of reading properties and values. How to read both? How we can read both properties and values? So here the question, so how to read both properties and values? We can do that by using for in only. By using for in we can read. How we can do that? Actually we have for var property in collection. That means now what you can do here, you can print the property document.write. We are printing the property. After that we want to print the value. Then what we will do? To print the value, collection of property. Collection of property. This is nothing but array. Into array name, you are passing the property name. Property name means what? It will be like collection. Collection of 0. Collection of 1, like this. So you can read both value as well as property. One more point we learned. You remembered array destructuring. Array destructuring means what? All array elements can be individually collected and they can be stored in one reference. That is array destructuring, right? So these are all the basic things you need to know. How to store data into array and how to read the data from array. So these are the options. You can see these examples we discussed. So how to use find, how to use filter, how to use slice, already we learned about them. Now to read both properties and values, you see now I am writing for var property in. Collection is what? Sales. And document.write, we are printing property. It is going to print every property. Let's run this. So here we are going to print every property and it is going to display. Those are properties. We want to print value. Then we can use which one? Off. Off means it is going to return all values. We want to return both property and value. Then what we have to do in? We will print the property name. After that, here we will use the value, right? So value is nothing but I will put a simple binding thing. Just I will use backtick. First, let's print in the square brace property. After that, we will print sales here. Sales is collection of property. Why these are called iterators? Iterator is nothing but it is the name of a software design pattern. Iterator is a software design pattern which is used for reading elements from a collection in sequential order. We can read elements from a collection in sequential order. Later you will learn statements. I will tell you about statements. Actually, many times when you are learning any technology, these two doubts will come. So that is what is difference between a loop and iterator. Actually, later you will learn about statements, looping and all statements we will learn. As of now, what is difference between a loop and iterator is actually loop comprises of initialization. It contains condition, and it contains counter to read values from collection. That is what actually does. Usually we write like this: for where I starts with 0, I less than collection until collection dot length we have to access, and I plus plus means increment the value by 1. That means it will read the first one. After reading the first one, it will increment plus 1. Then it will read second one until it matches the condition called length. If it is up to length, then it will stop. This is called loop. What is iterator? Iterator is a design pattern that allows to read values from collection in sequential order. Actually, what is the specialty about iterator is it doesn't require initialization and condition, and it doesn't require counter. It knows where to start, it knows where to stop, and it knows how to proceed. You don't need to mention anything. That is why you saw here counter. Yeah, you saw here we write like this: for where item of collection. That's it. Are you mentioning where to start? No. Are you mentioning when to stop? No. Are you mentioning how to proceed? No. Here you are just telling collect everyone from this variable collection and store in variable. That means where to start, it knows. It will start from the beginning of collection. Where to stop, it will stop at the end of collection. After reading the first one, it will proceed to next. So that is the advantage of this. These days in modern programming, we don't prefer using loops very much because iterators are more faster than loop. So we mostly prefer using iterators. Very rarely you will see people using a loop for reading data from any array. That is done if you want index-based access and lot of other things. I will show you when we learn about statements. In statements, we will separately discuss about difference between loops and iterators. I have to show that now because arrays can use them, right? So initially, what is the difference between them? The difference is nothing but now when you do this, what it will do? It is going to return both keys and value. I will put a break. So it knows where to start, where to end. It reads all the values and display. This is a simple example of how we can access the data and display. So reading values from an array. Actually, to read values from an array, there is another concept here. We have an option for each. We have for each. Actually, for each is also same, but you see it uses a callback function. It uses a callback function. For each requires a callback function. What is that callback function is? So it uses a callback function. In this callback function, that means we are using callback function. Suppose I am writing, so here what it is doing, callback function is expecting, see, it is expecting value, it is a number type, and index, it is a number type, and it is an array of number type. Actually, what is the point here is value as number type. That means what is number type value? What is this index number? So here, these you will learn later, because for that you need to learn some more concept. Then you can understand this for each, right? Because for this you need to learn about functions, parameters, and parameter types. That I will explain, and after I will come back to this for each. Because in many interviews they ask this, what is the purpose of for each also, right? But for that I will show you how to handle the functions later. So some array methods we will discuss towards the end of array, because for that first you need to understand complete concept of array, then you can handle it, right? So don't think that anything I am not discussing in the beginning means we are not discussing that forever, because the situation doesn't match, so we are not discussing. In the next situation, once you understood everything, then you will learn that how to handle. So technically, as of now, you know about few things. How to read data from array, you try these. So you can use toString, join, map, find, filter, slice, for in, and for off. These are important, right? Now, after reading, now the second concept, how to present, we will see, right? After reading, the next important is how we can add elements into array. That means add elements into array. The first thing, how to read elements from array. Read array properties and elements. For that, these are all the methods. How to add elements into array. To add elements into array, we have methods called push, we have unshift, and we have splice. These are three methods. These are the three methods used for adding elements into array. So what are these methods? Actually, push, it adds new elements as last elements. It adds new elements as last elements, means at the bottom it will add. Whereas unshift, it adds new elements as first elements. That means you can see they will add at the bottom and these are added at the top. That is the option. Splice, it adds new elements at any specific location. You want at any place you can add. That means elements are added by using this. Here I will use here yes in a parenthesis. This means you can add one element or you can add multiple elements. Element or elements. Right? Adding elements into array is done by using these three methods. Push, unshift, and splice. Let's see here how to do that. I will create here. So simply categories. Categories is equal to electronics, footwear, and fashion. 3 categories are there. Let's print them for var property in categories. We will print both property and value. I am using here in the square brace. We will print property, and here I will print the value. Value is nothing but categories of property. So it is going to print both property and value like this. It is going to print them like this. 0 electronics, 1 footwear, 2 fashion. Now, before reading, I will go to categories and I will use push. Push, I will add here. You can add multiple items. Push, you see items. It can be one or multiple. I will add here, suppose all. Then I'm adding one item all. But this item will be added as last item. I want to add as first item. Then instead of push, we have to use unshift. Unshift. Then it will add as first item. Right? Where you want to add, as last item or first item. As last item, then push. First item all. Suppose I want to add after electronics. After electronics means at one place I want to add. But already at one place there is footwear. So what to do with it? Keep it or remove it? That you have to decide. For that, if you want at any position, then we have to use the method splice. Syntactically, we write like this. Syntactically, we write like this. We are using collection dot push, and here item 1. If you want item 2, you can add any number of items like this. I am just adding only one item. For example, I am saying all. I say kids, and you can see it will add all and kids. You can add any number of items as first item, as last item. Now here same, we have collection, we have push, we have item 1, and we have like item 2. This is unshift. Unshift. So item 1, item 2, like this we can define, right? Now another important is when you are using splice, we have like this. You need to mention index number. At which index number you want to add. After that, you have to mention delete count. How many to delete? After that, you have to add items. Item 1, item 2, like this you can add. That means where you want to add. From there, how many you want to delete. And what are the new elements you want to add in that place. So if you don't want to delete, then delete count will be 0. That means we are saying that we don't delete anything. We will just add these new items. For example, I want to add all and kits after electronics. After electronics, then what we will do? Suppose I am using this one. Okay, fine. This is added. So all is added as first item. I want to add kits after electronics. After electronics means after one index. So after one index means I want to add it 2 index. Actually, standard array is 0. But after you add all, electronics will become 1. So after electronics you want to add means from which position you need to add 2. That means what you have to do here now, categories dot splice. Splice from 2 position. Then how many to delete? Don't delete anything. 0. And comma, what are the items to add? So kids to add. That means it will add kids after electronics. Right? Where you want to add, you need to define. Why I given 2? Because actually before you add anything into array, already 1 is added. Then the count will be changing for that electronics. So that is the reason. You can add any kids. Suppose I said, men's clothing, some men's clothing like this. And you can see it is going to add that also there. This is adding elements into array. So what are the various techniques of adding elements into array? Push, unshift, another one, splice. Like, good, right? Next option, third, is removing elements from array. Removing elements from array. How you remove elements from the array? How you are going to remove the elements from array? It is nothing but you can see the syntax, Srinivas. Who is this? Delete count means how many to delete from 2 index. 0. 0 means nothing to delete. Because when you are adding anything, if you don't want to delete anything, then you have to give 0. If I say 1, what will happen? From 2 index, 1 item will be deleted and it will add 2. So I don't want to delete that. Then we have to give 0. Right? Already I given the syntax here. Delete count. This is delete count. How many to delete? Next important here, removing elements from array. To remove elements from array, we have the methods called pop. Pop, it removes and returns the last element. We have shift. It removes and returns the first element. And we have another is, so splice, same. Splice is nothing but it removes specified element. It removes and returns the specified element. Specified element, you can delete more than 1 also, right? So pop will always remove the last one, and shift will remove always the first one. Splice can remove at any specific position. Same syntax. So what you need to do here is just you need to go and add that option here. I will remove this. So here we are having some details. Okay. Now we have these 3 items are there. I want to remove fashion. Then what we have to do? Last item we want to remove. Then just we have to use categories dot pop. Why I am saying return? Removes and returns. That means now this pop function is a string function. It is not just removing, it is telling which one it removed. The removed item is stored in the memory. That means now what you can do, so you can even tell which one is removed. That means I will put a message here, document.write. What is it? That means I will just give here categories.pop removed. I will give that message. If I say that, then what happens is you can see it will say that fashion removed. Fashion is removed and 2 items are present. That means I will just put a break here. Okay, now it says fashion is removed, only 2 are there. That means it is removing and returning. Then only we can display that. Which one is removed, we can display. So what this function is doing, it is removing and it is returning it. Suppose I use shift, what will happen? Shift, it is going to remove the first one, electronics removed. Right? If you want to remove any specific one, then we have, suppose I want to remove footwear. Then what we have to do, we have to use splice. Splice, and the splice from which position? 1. From 1 position, how many to remove? Only 1 I want to remove. Then 1. That's it. So splice is used for both adding and removing. While removing, just you have to mention where to remove, how many to remove. And you can see it removes only that. Electronics, fashion. Footwear is removed. Suppose I said 2. Then what will happen? So footwear and fashion removed. Only electronics. Right? It can return those specific. So if you want to remove the first item, shift. Last item, pop. Specific item, splice. That's the example how we can do. Now here you are removing the elements from an array and you are managing the elements from array. Next important point is, here is how to reset the elements. Actually, so how to empty array. How to empty array means remove all. How you can empty array? For that we use some tricks actually. Right? To remove array, there is no method. Remove all elements in array, there is no method. We have to implement some techniques for that. Actually, what are the techniques we implement is, we want to remove all. Then what we will do is, to remove all, we will simply put here categories. Suppose I will just put here, document.write categories. That means it is going to print those categories, electronics, footwear, fashion. Now before doing that, I will use categories dot length. Length is equal to 0. Categories length is 0. Categories length is 0. That means it is empty now. Actually, length is set to 0. Is there any error here? You can see. So in the console, you can see here in the console, there is no error here. There is no error. Suppose categories dot length is 1. I am assigning length as 1. Then 1 will come. That means if you set it to 0, that means now it is cleaned up. There is nothing here. This is one technique used for cleaning up array. To clean up array, we can use this technique. There is another technique here. That means different type of concepts are used. This is one technique. Another technique is, generally what we do is, here I will remove this. Okay. Now you can see all are present. No problem. I want to make it empty. Categories of, we will reassign empty. We will reassign empty meta character again. If you reassign empty meta character, now it is empty. Nothing is there. Right? We are reassigning empty. That's clean up. So this is another technique how you can clean up. That means there are different ways you can configure. You can assign empty. When you assign empty, what happens? All the elements are deleted and they will keep empty. Dynamically, how to remove, later we will learn. Dynamically means on button click, on some selections, we will see later. First, we need to understand methods, then we can put in example how to work with them. So how to empty an array means how you can clean up the array means then you have these two techniques to handle. You can set length to 0. That means the answer for this is, so set length to 0. That is what you have to do. Or so assign so empty meta characters, assign to array. Empty meta character you can assign to array, that will reset the array, right? So how we can empty an array, how we can remove all the values from an array. This is one technique how we can manage. Next option is, in many interviews, these questions, these all interview related important questions, because when you are attending JavaScript interviews, they will concentrate several questions and practical things on arrays and strings, array methods, string methods, date methods, mathematical methods. These all they regularly concentrate. So we will have to understand, all these different methods. In many interviews, they ask like how to create copy of array. So create copy of an array, how you can create a copy of an array. Actually, here also several techniques are there. So many techniques and tricks you can use for copying that. Actually, so when you are creating copy of array, suppose this is categories. General concept is, suppose I written var menu. So now here I want document.write. So I will put here categories and I will print categories. So, and I will put a break. Okay, let's do one more. Here I will use menu, and in the menu I am using menu. Like this I am accessing. That means now it will print categories is empty. It will see categories and menu is undefined. How the menu also can have same categories? Then here I can assign categories. I can assign categories. When I assign categories, you can see the menu is also having same. This is general process actually. General process means you just assign the values into a array. That means now menu contains that same content. Actually, this is one technique, means how we can have similar content inside it. Whatever there in array, you would simply assign that into that. Actually, to create a copy, so we have another point. Another point is actually there is an option called, so we have from. So we have from. So we have options like array form or array from is there. That means what is that? Array prototype is there. Yeah. Array have a option called from. Array is a class. Array is a class. That is array constructor I told you. Na? Array constructor will provide this from. And from is an iterable. Iterable means what? It is going to read every item from array. And see here, it is going to read every item for array. And you can see there are using array like. So what you see, lot of options are there. So when you are writing such functions, you see this, these are called overloads. Means this have 4 ways of using. If you want to see different ways how it is used, because A developer needs little bit intelligence help. This is first way. 1 of 4. In that it is asking what an iterable object to convert an array. That means iterable. So you have to define an iterable object to convert an array. Iterable object means an object which can perform iterations. That means on which we can perform iteration. Is a string iterable? Is number iterable? Actually, iterable means usually it is a collection. That means here the collection is what? Categories. The collection is categories. Categories is iterable. Now, generally, this is not enough. Actually, what happens now when you run this? You see, what happens is iterable means it is reading. Suppose I am adding one more option into this. What is that option? Kids. I am adding one more kids option. It is added. This is creating a copy. Iterable means what? Read every item and use that item. That means from categories, it is reading every item and it is storing in this location, storing in that location. This is actually the concept of creating one copy for that. Directly you can assign or you can create like this. Actually, this from method is referred as shallow copy. This is referred as shallow copy. We generally use this as shallow copy. You haven't learned about object. Later I will tell you about object. Then you can learn about deep copies, shallow copy difference. Because these are interrelated. One related to array and objects. Currently we are discussing only array. After we learned about object, I will tell you. Because for that you need to learn JSON and all. Right? We are not into that concept. That is the reason, as of now, you just understand one point. So how we can create a copy. So in this, what is shallow, deep, I will tell you after understanding a concept called object. Actually, there is another technique. Another technique is usually what we do is there is a method called JSON. JSON.parse. JSON.stringify the categories. This is called, that means JSON.parse. This is also same. Suppose I am using men like this. That means it is going to add that men and display. This is called deep copy. But you don't know what is JSON as of now. Huh? Next level we will learn. What is JSON stringify? What is JSON parse? We will discuss about that. So because for that you only array knowledge is not enough. You need to understand about objects also. With that combination, I will explain what is this, right? But actually what we call this as, generally the previous example is called as, this example is called as shallow copy. And this example is called as deep copy. Deep copy is this one. The shallow copies and deep copies. So you will later understand about these very detailedly after knowing about a concept of JSON and object. But these are all the techniques. These are all the techniques how we can read the data from an array and store. Copy, how we can create the copies. How to reset and how do we create the copies. Out of 100 JavaScript interviews these days, 95 interviews ask this question. Array copies, how to reset arrays, these kind of questions will come. So you need to know those two options by using one prototype. What is that prototype? Array. Array from which collection and store in that result. Right? So another option is JSON parse and JSON string file. Actually, JSON string file is nothing but it converts into JSON format. That JSON format must be again converted into array. Array must be stored inside array. That is the copies how we create, which you will learn in the concept of objects, how to deal with objects. Okay. So array have these methods for resetting, empty, how we can create a copy. Next important in the array manipulations, we have sorting and reverse. Sorting and reversing array. For that we have two methods, sort, another one is reverse. Reverse sort is nothing but arranges array elements in ascending order. And the reverse is used to arrange in reverse order, not descending order. Reverse order is nothing but some bottom to top. It is not descending order. Descending order means from backside, means highest to lowest, lowest to highest, like that. It's not like that. Reverse means how it is stored in array. In that reverse order, it will display. Then how to display descending, that we have to manually implement. Let's see, for example, suppose here I am writing where I am writing some collection, so some cities. In that I have some Delhi. So here Hyderabad, so like Mumbai, like this. So here, so Chennai, like this. So Bangalore, like this. Like this, we are adding some cities. Now document.write, or say I will say for where item of collection is cities, we are printing document.write cities item. We are printing every item and it is going to display those items exactly how they are defined. It will show. I want to arrange alphabetical A, B, C, D order. Then before you print, just you have to use cities.sort. That means it is going to arrange in order. That means B, C, D, H, M. So if I actually use reverse, generally this is the order. This is how they are present. If I say reverse, what will happen? Cities.reverse. Cities.reverse means in reverse order. Means first B, Bangalore, then Chennai, then Mumbai, then Hyderabad, then Delhi. In the reverse order, it is going to arrange. But I want in descending order. Then what to do? If you want in descending order, first sort, after that reverse. First, when you sort, it will be ascending order. On that ascending order, you put reverse. That will be descending order. Then you can see it is going to return that in descending. Right? You can arrange array elements in ascending or descending order. So by using sort and reverse. These are important. As I told you, some more methods are there, but for that we need some more knowledge, right? Then we can implement those methods. Those I will give you with another context, how to handle them. Because currently we are learning only array, and in that we can put only few primitive types. Later we can put non-primitive types. Then we have a lot of other techniques. We will understand them, how to use. For that, object knowledge is important. JSON object knowledge is important. These are all array manipulations. Array manipulations. How do we define? How do we configure and all? Now, once you know the basic array manipulations, presenting array in UI is important. right? How do we read is not just enough. How do we present is enough. For that, you need to learn several techniques. That means what you have to learn to present is dynamically adding elements into page. How you can dynamically add elements into page. If you know this technique, then you can easily present. Array presentation completely depends on this technique, dynamically adding elements into page. How you can dynamically add elements into page? That means dynamically adding elements into page is nothing but what we are doing here. Adding dynamically elements into page means, for example, I want to add a photo here. I want to add a photo in this page. But that photo must be added into page when I want it. If I write IMG and hide the photo, that means now what will happen? The photo is present in the page, but it is hidden. You cannot see the photo. Later, whenever you want, you can display it. That is not a good idea. Why? Why it is not a good idea? Because that will not improve the page performance, because already elements are present, but you are hiding those elements. Obviously, it will take time to load all of them. It is not displaying means it doesn't mean that it is not loading. It is loading, but it is not showing on screen. It is present in the back. We don't want like that. We want to add an element only when it is necessary. Dynamically, we can add elements. That is the first thing you have to learn. How? See. How to add elements dynamically. To add elements dynamically into page. So first point is we have to create a new HTML element dynamically. You have to create a new HTML element dynamically. How to create a new HTML element dynamically? By using document.createElement method. By using createElement method. And here you have to mention element name. This is going to create an element. Suppose I want to create a picture, image. Then document.createElement. IMG. That's it. I want to create a table cell. Then document.createElement. TD. Like this. We have to create element. After creating element, this element is created and it is present in memory. That element from memory we need to access and add to page. So that means after creating element, how you can add? It is present in memory. How to access from memory? In which memory it is present? There is no memory allocated here. Generally what we do is var reference is equal to that element. That means var pic is equal to image. Some var table cell is equal to TD. That means an element is created IMG and that element is in the memory. That memory reference name is what? Pic. That means you can manage this image with reference of pic. Means adding source, adding width, adding height, everything. So once you create element, second step, define properties for element. After creating element, you have to define properties for element. Property for element means what? So we have reference.id, like reference.name, like reference.class name. So like we have reference.width, like we have reference dot height, like reference dot src, according to which object you created. You created an image, then you know image attributes. You created a radio button, you know radio button attributes. Any element you can create dynamically, but for that you need to define the properties. After defining the properties, element is ready. This element must be added to page. So third stage is add new element into page. How to add new element into page? So that means you have to add into any container. Suppose you can directly add into body. Suppose into body I want to add. Then what you have to do? You have to add element into page by using append child. By using append child. Append child is a method which is used to add the new element into the page. That means now into which parent you should append child? There must be a parent element. If you want to add, there must be a parent element. Who is the parent of all elements in the page body? In the body, you can add that element. That means what you can do, document dot query selector. And what is that? Body. Into the body, append child. Append child. And you have to define the reference. Which reference element you want to add, you need to define the reference. This is how we can add elements into the append right here, append child. So in order to work with dynamic arrays and all, you must know this technique first. Then you can use creating element, adding element into the page. Let's see. For example, I am giving a simple button here. And in the button, I will say add image. Now below that, I will put a div. In this div, I want to add that image. That means I need to create an image dynamically and add that image into that location. Let's go here, inspect. When you go to inspect in the developer tools, let's go to elements. You can see these are elements. In the body, there is a div empty. So you have a simple div empty. Into the div, I need to put a picture. Dynamically, we need to add an image. So on button click, we want to do. Then see, I'm writing the logic. So on click is add click. Okay. Let's write a function. So we are writing a script and a function. Function is add click. On add click, what is the first step? We have to create an image. Document dot, what is it? Create element. Create element. Which element? img. It is created and it is present in memory. But in which memory? We need to give a memory reference name. That means I will use var memory reference name. I will give memory reference name as some pic. Into that, we need to create an image. Now this pic should have some attributes, properties. What is it? Pic dot width is equal to some 200. Pic dot height is equal to some 200. So pic dot border is equal to some 2. Border is 2. Now pic dot src, because you know that it is an image. Src means path. Dot dot slash public slash images slash some a1 dot jpg. Like this we define. Now you can add all attributes, alignment, so source, width, height, or alternate text, anything. Now picture is ready. Its properties are ready. Now add this into div. For this div, I will give an ID as container. Into that container, we need to add the pick that we created now. That means document dot get element by ID. What it is? Container. It is parent element. Into the parent element, you want to add a child element. Then you have to use dot append child. Append child. Which element to append? The node. Which element to append pick? Pick is the new element that you created, that element. Remember, adding element is not the element name. It is the reference name. Understood? You should not say append image, because that image is having a reference called pick. You have to access not directly by element name. You have to access by using the reference. So now see here. Now currently the div is empty and I click on add image. That image is added. You see in the div there is an image, but SRC have some problem. That is, problem is nothing but that picture may not be there. Picture is not there. Picture we have India, master, some shoe, UK, visa. Like what I will do here, I will just go and set the picture correctly which we have. So this is images. What is it? Shoe.jpg. Now when I click on this add image, that image will come. And you can see in the div an img element is created. Dynamically an element is created and it is added. Now this is how do we create element and add the element, right? Let me copy this. I will paste it here. This is the process of creating it. Any element is created in the same way. Let's do one more here. Now we can implement in arrays concept. One more. For example, I am having a select. Select is a drop down. Into the drop down, I want to add an option with some text. Currently drop down is empty. So when I click add image, image is coming. Now into the drop down, I want to add an option. So we will do one more button and say add option. And here on click is equal to add option. That is the function. Now I will write a script. Function add option is the function. Okay, now tell me how to add an option. First we have to create an option. So where option is equal to document dot create element. Memory reference, you can give any name. Option element. I'm giving same name, that's okay. You can give any different memory name. Now this option should have two properties. Option text. What is the option text? Option text I will say here as suppose Delhi. Okay, what should be option value? Option value is also Delhi. Because you know that drop down have how many properties? Every option have how many properties? Remember that? Every option have how many attributes in HTML? You know HTML, in HTML, every option have how many attributes? What are those attributes? Every option have 4 attributes basically. One is text, another one value, another one is disabled and selected. Selected. Every drop down option have 4 properties actually. Value property, text property, disabled property, another one is selected. Selected means whether you want it selected or not. Right now we are defining text and value. Now add this option to drop down. How to collect the drop down? Document dot query selector. What is it? Select. Into that we have to use what? Append child. Which one? Option. The memory reference name we have to give option. Now you can see that it is going to add that here. And I click on add image. It is adding an image. Add option. It have to add the option. On click. Some problem is there. Query selector is select. Some error is there. Let's check. On click, right. On click we have it. That changed the event. Okay. Now I click on add image. When I click on add image, it is displaying add option. It is adding that option. We can dynamically create any element, paragraph, tables, anything we can create. In majority of practical tests, you are given such tasks. How to create a table dynamically. They will give you some data and they will say that create a table and present this in that table. You must able to create a table dynamically. How we can create a table? So a lot of work will be there. Right. Initially, for example, I will show you that point also. Because while working with arrays, you need to do all such things dynamically. Right. I will show this now. Now tell me how to add more than one option at a time. How to add more than one option into this. So what we will do now, see. I will remove this add click. And here add option. We need to add an option into drop down. Okay. Now see, for example, this is not one option. Currently we are using one option. Suppose I have a global variable categories. Categories is an array, all electronics and footwear and fashion. I want to add all of these into the drop down. If you want to add all of these into drop down, you know, first thing is how to read all of them. How to read all of them? We know for where item of collection. What is the collection name? Categories. You are reading every item. For every item, I need to add into drop down, means for every item we have to create an option. So in this iterator, where option is equal to, here we are defining option is equal to document dot create element. Which element? Option. That means for first item, it will create one option. Second item, another option. So how many items are there in categories? Those many options are created. Then what should be option text? Option dot text should be item. Option dot value also item. That means same category name will be used as text and value. After that, add this option into drop down. That means document dot what? Query selector. What is that? Select. Into that what? Append child. Append child. Which one? Option. That means now every option it will read and it will add into drop down. Now you can see that when I click here, when I click on add option, I am clicking on add option. It will add all of them. It is going to add all of them. And actually it will repeat them. If I click add option, you can see one more time added. You click add option, one more time added. It is repeatedly adding that. But I don't want like that. I want to clean up and add new. Then what we will do is, we will just put here, before adding, you need to clean up and add. Which one to clean up? The drop down should be cleaned up. So we have to just access the drop down, document dot query selector. Query selector. What is the drop down? Drop down is select. In that select, I don't want any options. Then dot inner HTML is empty. This will delete all the options if it is already having options. After that, it will add this list. So whenever it is adding the list newly, whatever existing list is there, clean up and do. In that case, it will not repeat here. I click add option, it is added. Again, I click add option, it's not there. Only one time it is there. You click any number of times. Only one time it will be there. This is how we can dynamically add items. Now, very important, this is example. This is example. Suppose if they ask like, I want these as ordered list. I want those as ordered list. That means here I want to put a heading, categories, and I want to display the list of all categories in an ordered list. Then tell me how to create an ordered list now. Same iterator I can use. In the iterator, we can create li. Because in an ordered list, to add anything, it should be a list item, li. In that list item, we are creating list item first. How do we create? Document dot create element. Which one? List item. This list item inner HTML, because list item is an empty container. You don't have value, text and all. We have inner HTML. Inner HTML, that item. After that, add this to ordered list. Document dot query selector. What is it? OL. OL is what? Ordered list. Into the ordered list, append child. Which one? Li. Then you can see that when I click on this, it will get those options also. Dynamically, we are creating an option. Remember, so to present complex data, you need a lot of such dynamic creations. For example, all I want to add into a table. Suppose I will give here table. I will create a table. For table, I will keep a border, and the table have some width. Okay, this table have T-head, TR, TH categories. And under that, we have T body, table body. In this body, I want to generate. In that body, I want to display. In the table body, I want to display all the categories. Then how do we display all the categories? Same iterator we have to use here. Now in a table body, I want to add. Can you add any element directly into table? Actually, if you want to display text in table, where text is displayed? In a table, where text is displayed? It is displayed in TD. TD is table cell. Na? Can you put a table cell directly? No. You have to first create a row, because you know the hierarchy. Row, in that row, cell. Right? Now the question here is first how to create a row. First we have to create a row where TR is equal to document dot create element TR. Okay, we created a row. After that, we have to create a cell. Document dot create element, what it is? TD. In this cell, TD inner HTML, we will display item. That means category name. Now, this cell must be added to row first. That means what we have to do? TR dot append child. Into row, we need to add the cell. Which one? TD. After that, row is ready. This row must be added to table body. That means document dot query selector. What is it? T body. Into the table body, append child. Which one? TR. That means first add the cells into row. After that, add the row into table body. Now, when you click on this, then it is going to create that and display. That is how we can add the data into the rows. Directly, we cannot add into TR, because usually you know table structure. In table structure, we cannot add anything directly. First, we have to create groups, then rows, then cells. Add data into cell, add cell into row, add row into table body, table header, anywhere you can add. That is how we can do. Later, we can see how to create checkboxes, radios, list boxes dynamically. But now we will see one dynamic example. Dynamic example means user must able to add a new category dynamically, remove the category dynamically. So manipulate all the array through buttons and manipulations. For that, we need to create a simple interface. User must able to add elements, remove elements, sort elements, search for elements. We can handle all those. That we'll see in next session, right? In tomorrow's session, we will create one example using basic array. Remember, this is an ordinary array. Later, you will learn about objects, JSON type, and more array functions will come. Because for that, we need to learn another data type called object. First, with these arrays, we will try one example. We will see how to really implement them in the interface, right? Designing array example. These are all lot of methods you need to practice. Then we will see tomorrow. In tomorrow's session, we will discuss about an example using arrays. Then we can go into JSON type. What is JSON and how to work with them, okay? Array have some more methods, which you will learn after understanding few other concepts, okay? As of now, these are enough to understand. So tomorrow we'll continue then, right?